Coming up on the next episode. Good afternoon to YouTube. Here it's 4:34 now on this Saturday afternoon. Here at the workshop, as you can see, thought we'd try a little bit different angle this time. I had to go through a lot to get this done because I don't use my tripods that much, and I had one back here in the corner I knew that would work, but I wanted to use this one because it has a slide in. I call it a shoe, but I don't even know if that's what the correct answer is for it. Sorry, wait a minute, let me turn this off. It will be beeping if I don't. But anyway, I wanted that one because it's just, to me, easier to use. So I went to a lot of trouble to get this done. I couldn't find the actual shoe, for lack of a better term. And so I thought, well, you know, I could print that pretty easy. And so I set about designing one in Tinkercad. No problem. Got it the way I wanted it, and it looked like it would work pretty good. So I went over to, usually you go to Cura to slice the print that you've designed from Tinkercad. And I hit the button like I usually do, and it said it couldn't find some kind of OpenGL driver or something of that sort, and I thought, okay, well, that's a problem. So what is all this leading to? It is leading to the fact that I had a big day yesterday. I had let me eat a cookie. Maybe that'll help a little bit. I brought me some cookies in. I can't afford Oreos, so I get the Walmart brand of, I don't know what they're called, sliders or something like that. But anyway, getting back to yesterday, I had a doctor's appointment. Some of you know that. And I think it was at 10 till 10. So I left the house about 9:30. It doesn't usually take but 10 minutes to get there, and it's about what it took. And walked in, reported myself being there and all that stuff. And sit down, and I probably wasn't there 5 minutes, and she came out and asked for me. Now, one of the things I got to tell you, I have when I go to a place and see people a lot, I generally try to tell them that people call me Doug instead of Gerald, and I explain why. And so they apparently at the doctor's office written it on my chart, or my whatever they use to do it, in parentheses. And so sometimes they'll come ask for Doug, and sometimes they'll ask for Gerald. Last two times have been Doug, and so it kind of confused me a little bit because I'm not used to it, but I went ahead and got up, and I guess you're talking about me. So she said, yeah, I guess so. So there were only two of us there, and the other one was a woman. Had to be me. So anyway, went back there, had to weigh myself, or well, you have to get weighed. I think 229. I lost a couple of pounds since the last time, which is good. Always good to lose pounds. I have been changing my. I'll get into that in a minute. But anyway, went on into the thing, did the blood pressure. She asked if I wanted a flu shot, and I said, well, if you think I need one, yeah, I guess. And she had to check, see if it was, I think the last one was in November, so she had to check, make sure it didn't need to be a year between the shots, and she said no, it didn't. So I got a flu shot. This arm here, it's a little bit sore. But anyway, after they do that, check blood pressure. Blood pressure was really good. I think 122 over 80 or something like that. Pretty average. So she asked if anything else she can do, and I said, no, not really. Conclude the small talk, you know how that works. And she left. She said, doctor will be in a minute. Well, it wasn't but a minute. He strode in. He's pretty cool. He's younger, of course, but went over the numbers and said he was really thrilled. Of course, I had went the week before to have my blood drawn and tested, and I guess my A1C was down to 6.5, which I think it was 6.8 or 9 before that. So he was very happy about that. Of course, the blood pressure was good. Losing weight was good. And there was a couple other things he mentioned that, you know, I guess my kidneys were doing good. So anyway, all that was really good. And of course, he asked the same question he always does. Is there anything else I can help you with? And I said, really, no, I guess not. So that was pretty much it. But I thought that was a really good report. You know, I liked it. So I thought, okay, well, I had a package to mail out, and I had my mask on. You have to wear a mask. And I think I did mention that, as I said, well, yeah, I'll be glad when we don't have to wear these anymore. So I left it on because my next trip was to the post office. Now, the post office doesn't require you to have a mask, but it says it prefers you to have one, I guess, or they say it's the best policy if you wear one. But they don't require it. But I had it on. I thought I'll just wear it and go ahead and in there. Well, they have a little place there, a little window with a roll up door, I guess, or whatever, lack of a thing, a better term. But and it says press the bell if you want to drop off a pre postage paid package or something like that. And so I seen that, and I walked out of the line for a second, and I pressed the button. Nothing happened. I didn't hear any noises or anything. I didn't know if it was maybe lit up a light back there or what, but I stood there for quite a while, and the line was starting to move, and I thought, well, might as well go this way because there's only, I think, 2 people in front of me. So I went ahead and dropped off the package and got my receipt for that. And so I had one more thing to do, and that was to stop by CVS. They had that was the other funny thing about it. They had contacted me by text. That's how they usually do it, and said this was my last day to pick up this medication. And I had not heard one peep out of them before that. I mean, usually they'll give me a text and say, well, you got 3 more days to pick up your thing, and then they'll 2 more days to pick up your thing. Well, this was just nothing before this. Just this is your last day to do this. If you don't do it today, we're going to restock it. Now, restocking it's not a big deal. They'll just go ahead and fill it again, but I know it pisses them off. So I thought, well, okay, I'll stop by and pick that up because it wasn't that it was out of it or anything like that, but it was, you know, I hadn't refilled. This is the only one I didn't refill with the rest of them that I had refilled early in the month. So I thought, well, I'll go ahead and do that, and then so I did. I stopped by. Of course, CVS line was not out to the road, but it was getting close. And so I sit there in line in CVS for over 30 minutes before I got my medications, and it was kind of a bummer, but it was a nice day. I had windows open. It wasn't hot, you know, or at least that hot yet. So, and I was listening to my tunes on my radio and stuff like that. So I guess it wasn't too bad, but like I said, that was just too much waiting for. And I think they've got the same problem that everybody else has, is they don't have any help. I mean, you know, they're low on staff or whatever. Because I'm pretty darn sure the lady that was waiting on us back there at the window was also waiting on people at the inside as well, because she would stay gone for excuse me, quite a while before she would return to the window. So I'm just assuming that's what she was doing. Anyway, I got my medication, went home, and so then the fun began. You guys realize I did get a new video card from my generous benefactor. I forget when it was, last week sometime, but anyway, I put it in on Monday, I think it was Monday. And then it seemed to work really good, and I'm thinking, I'm really happy with this, and very, very nice. It's working, you know, and I didn't really think too much more about it. Well, not too long after I did that, it kind of locked up. The display, the mouse would still move. You could see the mouse cursor going all over the place when you move the mouse, but nothing else worked. You could click on anything on the screen and nothing activate. I mean, and plus the time was froze. It wouldn't move. So I knew there was a problem, obviously. So I went ahead and rebooted, and with Linux, you don't have to worry too much about that. Just press the on-off button, and it shuts down and boot back up, and then it was fine the rest of the day, or well, not the rest of the day. I think later that evening, it went off again. I think it was at 8:45 that evening, and it did the same thing. And I had mentioned to the guy who had sent it to me, and I was thinking maybe he had experienced a problem with it or something of that nature. And he said no, he had tested it quite a while. Of course, now he doesn't use Linux, I don't think, but and it hadn't exhibited any problems. So I said, okay, so what I'm going to do, I said, is I've got Windows 7 and Windows 10 on this. I'm going to go ahead and install the driver for the card in those two operating systems and see what they do. And so I did. And in fact, I thought, well, the next day I thought, oh, I'm just going to switch around today. I did that. And basically, I would go into Windows 7 and do stuff in there for a while. Then I would go into Windows 10, do stuff for there. Then I would go back to MX Linux and do stuff there. Well, anyway, long story short, it pretty much stayed okay all day long. And so the next day I went back thinking maybe it was just a little bit of a fluke or something with the card, and it might be straightened out itself. I don't know. I'm not a total expert when it comes to computers, but like I said, they generally don't. But anyway, so I thought, oh, maybe it'll be okay. And I emailed the guy back, and I said, I think maybe it is okay. I told him what I'd done, and he said, well, in case it does mess up again in Linux, maybe that's what the problem is. And I said, yeah, that's what I was going to try if it does. And then sure enough, it did mess up again in Linux. And again, same symptoms. It just, you get the mouse cursor moves and stuff like that, but nothing else worked. So the following day, I thought, well, I'm just going to stay in Windows 7 all day long, which I did. And I basically turned on YouTube and found something that wouldn't be terribly annoying to listen to, and put on the autoplay. Now, the autoplay basically, if anybody uses YouTube knows, it just keeps playing the next video on the suggested list and keeps on playing. Well, that's what I did. And I let it play from 10 o'clock that morning until I let it play all night. And it was about, well, it was when I went to the doctor. So about 8:30, I had turned it off and was going to do something else. And then, but that's how long it played. And it never skipped a beat. It worked fine. So that told me right there that the problem was with Linux and it was not, the card. So sure enough, the driver in Linux was using the, what they call the open driver, or whatever you want, however you want to pronounce it, but it wasn't the official NVIDIA driver. Well, I tried my best to get the NVIDIA driver installed, and it would not do that in MX Linux. And so I thought, well, okay, I'm going to have to switch operating systems, and I thought, I'll try Linux Mint, and then see what that does. And sure enough, I did, and I was able to install the NVIDIA driver, no problem, it installed just fine. So I thought, well, I'm going to install that onto I had bought a 128 gigabyte flash drive, pretty good price. Now I know why. It's slower than molasses. I mean slower than molasses. It's supposed to be USB 3, but I don't think it is. But so anyway, that's what I did, and that was, like I said, yesterday. And so after that failed, I thought, well, I'm gonna go in there and start really looking in Google and seeing if there was anything I could find that would allow me to install that NVIDIA driver. And sure enough, I did find a terminal command where you could go in there and type it that way. Ran through that, it installed fine. So that was what I did, and it has been fine ever since. It does have an NVIDIA driver now. It says, I forget what it said, open mode or mode setting or something like that. But anyway, so everything was fine until I had designed the little camera mount, or tripod camera mount, and I thought, well, I got to print that out. So I brought it over to my 3D prints folder. I always just right click on it and say open Cura, which I did, and then it's when I got the error message. It said your video card's not working with the drivers that's necessary for Cura. So, you know, it's just always something. And after all the hell I went through Friday, I thought I don't want to go through this all again, and then I just don't want to have to do it. And so I got to looking, actually I told Bob about it, and Bob had texted me back. He said if you installed Cura using Snap, which I did, I didn't realize it at the time, but I did. He said that may be the problem. So in the meantime, what I did is I went over to Windows 7, installed Cura there. I went ahead and sliced the little pile that it wasn't very long. I think an hour or so maybe, and I saved it in a way where I could get back over to MX Linux and then go from there, because all my software for the printer is over there. And so I did, and I started printing that. And then I went back to the thing, and I said, okay, well, what's the deal? And so he didn't respond right away, so I just got to start looking, and I thought, well, if it is a problem with Snap, I'm going to check, see if I did use Snap, and sure enough, I did. So I went ahead and uninstalled it, and I thought, well, you know, maybe we'll find another version that doesn't use Snap, and then it'll be okay. So I went on to Ultimaker's Cura website, and sure enough, they had an app image for Linux 64-bit that would run on my system. So I just downloaded that, and basically app image is just like any kind of program. In fact, it's probably the simplest way of doing it. You just basically go into permissions, and there's a checkbox that says you can run this as an application. You check that, go back and double click it, and it runs just like any other program. So, and that's what I did. It worked fine. So even kept all my settings from the printer. You have to set up your printer and your slicing preferences, things like that, and you have to do all that stuff, and it even done that. So I was very, very tickled about that. So probably on part 2 of this, what I'm going to do is go in there to the computer and show you some things that are a little bit different on this driver. And I noticed it right away when I booted up. The splash screen that comes up when you boot into MX Linux is usually, I'll call it in good resolution, as far as being same resolution as the rest of it. But this one is just totally different, and you'll see what I'm talking about. I'll do a screen capture, or not screen capture, but use the camera to capture it, and then we'll go into the computer itself, and we'll talk about that some more. So, but that's what my days have been like. And like I said, I thought, today I was going to have a fairly easy day, and then I ran into that problem, but I got through it, no problem. And I didn't know if I mentioned this or not, but I'm using the Codec ZI-8 for this, and I figure I ought to be far enough away that it should be pretty good resolution or focus range or whatever, and so hopefully it will. So there you go. There's a good flap. I'm going to call this the Saturday flap about Friday, but I won't post it till Wednesday flap. How's that? I've already got my video done for Monday, and I don't know how well you can see it behind me here, but that is installed and it is working. So that is a big load off my and that didn't take near as long as I thought it would. I had that done Thursday evening, and so very happy about that. But like I say, you'll see that Monday, so you'll see that before you get to see this. So that's kind of hard to keep up with too, and I know sometimes you guys get frustrated with that, but I like to do this because it gives me the time. Now, like tomorrow I have a birthday party to go to, and I don't know if I mentioned this or not, but I was able to get gifts for both of my great-granddaughters, I should say. And so I will have those when I go, and that's good. I got them with the groceries. But like I think I started to say about, I've changed my eating habits a little bit. I haven't given up all my foods and things like that, but I have cut back on bread. Bread's a big, well, to me, it's an unnecessary thing. I mean, I eat a lot of sandwiches. I enjoy sandwiches, and so I had usually when I make a sandwich, I'll use 2 pieces of bread and then the meat in between it. Obviously, that's how you make a sandwich. But and I'll usually have 2 of them, so that's 4 slices of bread. And so here lately, I've been cutting the 2 slices in half, using half a slice for each sandwich, and then I use the same amount of meat. Well, that's except for today. Now today I made 1 sandwich and cut it in half. Try that and see what that did. So I'm just doing a little experimentation and trying to get a way of doing it. But doctor seems to think that's working good, and I hope it does, because I don't like weighing. You know, I get depressed when I get too heavy, and it just doesn't feel well, doesn't sit well, you know, things like that. So I try to not do that if possible. So let's see what else is going on here. Been watching Bill. Always watch Bill. I enjoy watching Bill. Bill has I sympathize with you, Bill, but you know, at the same time, I can't understand a lot of the things that you have problems with, because I don't have any problems with them. But again, I understand you're different than me. So you know, it's going to work out that way sometimes, I guess, and that's about all you can say about that. So anywho, that's that. Bob is I thought he was taking a nap while I was printing this camera mount thing, but apparently he said a friend had stopped by, one he hadn't seen in a long time, and he was talking to him. So I thought, well, okay, well, either he did that after his nap or he just didn't take a nap. Well, he didn't take a nap, I guess, and then he said, well, I'm going to take a quick nap. So okay. So I guess that's what he's doing. And see, I'm just the opposite of that, because if I miss out on something and don't get to do it at my normal time, if it's too far past that, I just say the heck with it and don't do it. Like my pills this morning, I always have them at 10 o'clock, and normally I have my noodles then when I have it, but I'd already had my noodles earlier because I ended up getting up earlier. I think I got up at 7 this morning, and like I said, I went ahead and had those, because if I'm up a while, I get hungry, and then, you know, I just go ahead and eat. But so when the pill alarm went off, I was busy doing something on the computer, and I thought, well, I'll go in there and take them in a little bit. Well, the next thing I do, I looked up, it was afternoon. I'm thinking, well, I'm not going to mess with them, because, you know, sometimes it doesn't hurt once in a while to miss your pills. I mean, everybody does it. But so I did, and so the only difference I noticed is I don't have to go to the bathroom every 10 minutes. And that's kind of a welcome change, really. But now tomorrow when I take it again, it'll be even worse, because it seems like if you skip a day and you go back to take them, it's just like you started all over, and you know, I don't know, it's just weird the way it works, but that's just the way it works, I guess. That's all you can say. I did find a few things that I was looking for. This box here is for the AM transmitter that I bought from Antique Wireless, and I found the card for that, but I still have not found the components that Bob sent, and that's the only thing I'm waiting on there, is to find those. And I have been looking for all kinds of, well, I was looking for that shoe thing to go on that camera, and that's why I made the other one. I thought, well, I could spend all day looking for that, but then I could make one in 5 or 10 minutes, you know, and design it, whip it up, and then while it's printing I can do something else, and I did. So that worked out really well, and like I said, I've got the extra one now in case I do miss that one, or in case I find it, I should say. But so there you go. Just the way things happen, and I guess that's about it. Let me wind this part of it up. We'll go in there on the computer, and I'll show you how the computer boots using this camera, and we'll just look at it. And then after I go through it, we'll talk about it on the computer itself, and I'll show you some things on there and show you that things are a little bit different there as well. So stand by for that. Okay, well you can see this is the splash screen I was talking about. Normally this is a lot, that MX Linux is a lot smaller, and the progress bar is smaller also. But as you can see, that has changed quite a bit with this new driver. And that's not a bad thing. I just thought I would point it out that I could tell the difference right away. And when this switches over to the screen, you'll see what I'm talking about. Finish eating my cookie while I'm doing this. Again, if I didn't say so before, the reason this thing takes so long to boot is because of Snap. If I didn't use Snap, it wouldn't take that long. But I use Snap with several other programs beside that, Cura. One of them is Shotcut. It keeps Shotcut updated. I like it a lot, and I'm going to use it, if nothing else, just for that. So I do have other programs on there as well that I use it with. But so anywho, that's no big deal. Eventually this thing will take hold and get going. Been a hot day today. Almost near 90 again. So now you can see how much different that is. That's what the other screen looked like before. It was that small font like that. So just wanted to point that out, and we'll go ahead and let it boot, and then we'll get into the computer and go on to the computer and do another flat part from there. So there you go. I got to type my thing in, and we'll get to go from there. So we'll join you in just a minute. Welcome back once more again, YouTube. As you can see, there's 5 after 5 now. I am booted up into MX Linux once more. And yes, Bill, that's a bridge. You know me, I like my bridges. One of the things I wanted to show you here is some of the differences I noticed right away when I booted into this new video card driver is Thunderbird. Now, I know it won't become evident to you guys, but this is completely different text, or a font type text, than it's a lot more clear or crisper, or whatever you want to call it. And like the other one was bigger, and this one's a little bit smaller. But there's little nuances like that you can notice that, you know, or at least I noticed that way. I don't really think there's too much on the browser that changed. I can't remember it if it did. See, Bill's got a new video up, so I'll have to watch that in a bit. But Tommy's playing basketball, it looks like.
And it's on landscape, and he's over here at a familiar place.
Alright, we'll get back to watching that in a minute. I just kind of wanted to go through some of the changes here. Now, the Cura thing, I used to be able to, let me go to my 3D designs. I used to be able to go to this and type in, or go to the file that I wanted to print. And for this one's tripod, there it is. And I used to be able to just click, right click I should say, open with other applications. Usually it would come up, it would say Cura in the list, but obviously it doesn't do that now. You have to open it up with another thing like that, or you can go in and open up. I find it's easier just go ahead and open it up and then open the file, and then, or at least that's the way I do, because I go to my home folder here, and there is Cura Ultimaker right there. And like I said, you double click that, it brings it up. Close that out, and that is the latest version. So that works fine for me. I don't care about the extra step. It doesn't really matter to me as long as I don't have to put up with the video card messing up. Now we'll just go ahead and open the file. Let's see. Got to find them. Got to find them. Oh, downloads right there. 3D designs. And again, it's down to bottom. Tripod. I can't really see it. That's even smaller. I have to get a little closer. It is right there. There you go. That's upside down, but you can see what that looks like. And that's all that is you know, it fits in there, and then like it just, there's a little lever that comes over and holds it down. But that's all it was to it. And like I said, I put the bolt hole in there and for the 1/4-20 bolt, and that's what I'm using. And that fit fine, so, and that worked out good. Now if I slice that, you can see the time will come up, I think, yeah, 48 minutes, 49, something like that, 48. But so there you go. That's it. All there is to that. And it works just the same as it did before. You see there, there's my printer right there, Reality 3 Ender Pro. All my settings are the same over here, 20%. All these are the same. So all that was nothing had changed at all on that. So I was very happy about that. I didn't have to go reset it up or anything like that. So it all worked out in the end. I'm happy with that. And again, you know, I'm very happy with the video card. And like I say, I just I was really dreading setting up Linux Mint. Not that it's so much different, but I find that everything is a little bit different from each distro to each distro, even though they're both almost identically the same as far as how they're made and what they're based on, things like that. They're both based on Debian, and like I said, the same kernel, same you know, version and things like that. So you would think that they would be pretty much identical, but there is enough nuance of a difference to make things difficult sometimes to set up. And that's why I want to just keep this one I've got, and I'm happy it worked out that way. And so, like I said, that's really all I was going to talk about. But I just kind of wanted to show you that you know, that's what I had to go through to do this. And let me show you the system info real quick, if I can. Quick, there it is. But you can see if I go up here under graphics, right here, X11 server, unloaded. This is the one that's unloaded, the Nouveau Visa, whatever that is, alternative, NV compositor, and the one that is installed is the mode setting NVIDIA. And if you look down here, it says under OpenGL. Now that was the error I got in Cura. It said OpenGL wasn't supported with this card. Well, right there it tells you it is. It gives you the card that it is, and it says direct render yes. So that means it is supported. So that just led me to believe, you know, it was true about the snap problem. And sure enough, uninstalling it in snap and then using that app image, you see it works just fine. So again, I lost a little convenience, but again, I'm happy that it works, and I don't have to go through a lot of trouble. It's quite a bit of trouble to go over to Windows, and just to do that, I had to install it in Windows because I'd never installed it there before. And you know, of course, then I had to set up my printer, and most of my printer settings were default, but I did change the temperature a little bit on the bed and the tool. But so those printed out a little bit different than normal, but they printed out fine. So I wasn't disappointed the way it printed out. It printed out just fine. And like I say, maybe I go in here and show you what it looks like a little bit better than what you just seen. Tinker this. Let me flip it over here. You can see it better. 180. So there you go. There's what it looks like. It's got this. This is the back side of it here. This front side here, it has a space where it fits into there, and there's two spaces that it sticks into to hold it down. And again, that's your quarter 20 hole there, and then the bottom one's a little bit more wider and bigger for the head of the bolt. And again, worked out really good. I'm happy with that, and it worked out fine. I'm going to leave that on there in case I want to print another one, because I know I'll be losing it. You know it, I know it, everybody knows it. So, you know how that works. But anyway, that's about it, I think. I don't have anything else much to do today. I really, really wanted to get onto the bench and work on something. That's when I found that antique wireless card and stuff like that. I'm thinking, oh, maybe I could build that. But I can't find the parts, and I really need to go through my parts again in my room. It's in a box, a little, what do you call it, box? I can't think of the name of the company in Japan or China that makes those circuit boards. But I think a JCPL or something like that. I think that's what it's in, is a box like that, because that's what Bob usually sends me parts in and stuff. So, okie dokie, I think I'm going to get off here, and I got stuff to do and places to go, people to see. Well, I do tomorrow. I got to go to a birthday party. I'm not a big fan of birthday parties. Kind of like the ice cream and cake. But the rest of it, you know, kids, it's for kids, obviously. So, and I try to be there for them if I can be. So, anywho, that's that. All right, you guys have a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see ya.